Every student walks into the classroom carrying immense cultural capital, languages, life experiences, and community knowledge. Yet standard education models are often built to overwrite those unique backgrounds, pushing everyone down a single, uniform track. We call this the deficit-based model. It treats cultural differences as academic barriers, problems to be filtered out before real learning happens. An asset-based approach flips this entirely. Instead of stripping away backgrounds, you use their unique cultural experiences as foundational building blocks for high-level learning. Today, we are going to transform a traditional lesson plan into an asset-based module using a 5-step culturally responsive teaching toolkit. Before we start, you need 3 things: a standard lesson plan, your current assessment rubric, and basic classroom demographic data. By applying these tools, you stop forcing students to adapt to a rigid curriculum. You adapt the curriculum to amplify the strengths they already possess. Step 1 happens before any instruction begins. You have to gather baseline data on who your students actually are. Students arrive with a primary discourse, the way they think, speak, and act at home. To map this, deploy an intake survey, like this My Learning Journey mockup, asking direct, open-ended questions about their community knowledge and passions. Step 2. Once you have that data, you apply it using a daily integration checklist. This acts as an operational guardrail for your everyday lesson planning. Item 1 connects new academic content directly to culturally relevant applications in students' neighborhoods. Item 2 ensures an active, collaborative, peer-to-peer learning space during the lesson. Items 3 and 4 establish mechanisms for student feedback and verify the classroom environment reflects student identities. A critical note here: this checklist must run on the actual survey data you collected. Relying on assumptions leads straight into the trap of stereotyping. Running this daily checklist prevents you from teaching in a cultural vacuum. It keeps your lesson environment calibrated to the actual people in the room. Step 3 is physically modifying your standard lesson materials. We do this using 3 specific cultural injection methods. Method 1 is name and example swaps. You replace generic case study details with local community landmarks, culturally specific scenarios, and your own students' names. Method 2 is metaphor translation. Standard regional idioms like spill the beans or the ball is in your court create invisible biases in your assessments for out-of-region or ESL students. You have to scrub these out and replace them with clear, literal language. Method 3 is bilingual bridging. Provide structured opportunities for students to translate complex academic concepts back into their native languages, which builds essential cognitive muscle. Next, weave a personal connection module into the coursework. Give a student the option to dedicate a presentation to their grandfather or hook a science project to a family recipe. Modifying your materials and embracing these stories does not lower academic rigor. It builds the precise scaffolding diverse students require to access and master high-level concepts. This brings us to Step 4, evaluation. Standard assessment rubrics often grade compliance with the dominant cultural norm rather than measuring actual learning. Run a bias scrub across your materials. Remove exclusionary language and format barriers from all test questions, so you evaluate the student's knowledge, not their ability to navigate a poorly designed test. Then expand your evaluation framework beyond basic cognitive recall. By integrating models like the Indigenous Medicine Wheel, you assess the whole student, measuring emotional, physical, spiritual, and intellectual development. Open your digital rubric right now and actively add a new evaluation row. Title it Application of Cultural/Life Experience. Define the exceptional score criteria for this row based on how well a student synthesizes the academic concepts with their own community knowledge. By making this a specific row on your rubric, you legally and structurally shift the grading weight toward equitable asset building, pulling focus away from rote memorization. An equity-centered rubric acts as a primary tool for measuring engagement. It provides evidence of how deeply a student connects with the knowledge, rather than how well they mimic the instructor. Step 5 is review. You now have the complete culturally responsive toolkit, the primary discourse survey, the daily checklist, the material modifications, and your new equity-centered rubric. Deploying these tools creates an environment where students see their identities reflected in their work, and this shift fosters a sense of belonging, which researchers identify as a key driver of student success. This also brings a direct cognitive payoff. By connecting new content to their own life experiences, they bypassed frustrating, unfamiliar contexts and focus their mental energy on mastering the actual curriculum. Culturally responsive teaching is an ongoing practice. Each semester brings a new community of learners, meaning the iterating and calibrating process starts fresh. Start small. Apply your newly minted equity-centered rubric to tomorrow's assignment and watch cultural differences transform into your classroom's greatest academic asset.